3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the EF5 Podcast, the crossroads between logistics and life. And like I said, we'd be right back with one of these videos. And I see you got a hoodie on, so it looks like we might have been on a different day, but it's the same day. That's a good point. I might have just not did laundry.
Our secrets.
I might have just did laundry, or not did laundry. But anyways, we're coming back with the relationship video. You know, this is in reference to the 3 driving principles of kind of what we try to strive for at Elite.
Correct.
So, you know, we're just kind of expanding on it and really fleshing it out.
Go in detail a little bit more on each one of them, just enough to kind of bring some content through.
Yep.
So the relationship ones, we kind of identified there's good and bad relationships.
Yep.
Is that fair to say?
Yep. Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't know how to really
Everybody thinks they're all
which
good
ones
or all
are
bad.
Yeah, no one knows how to decide which ones are good or which ones are bad, so they lump them all in the same thing.
Exactly.
And that's personal and business, really.
Exactly.
So
that's kind of goes back to what we had talked about at the beginning in the kind of the summary video of how they should match authentically throughout our entire lives in a way that we don't have to put on for Elite versus put on for personal.
Right.
It should just kind of naturally evolve.
Right.
So that's our hope when we hire, when we get into relationships, so to speak, with the customers. And it potentially gives conflict at times whenever the other side obviously doesn't see the relationship for that. So you kind of have to identify that.
Yep.
So we kind of look at them, you know, is this going to be a good, obviously you want everything to last forever. That's good. So you try to establish if it's going to be a longer lasting relationship, or is this going to be kind of a one-time solution for them?
Right.
And those are okay too. I mean, there's places for all that.
Yeah.
So kind of identify good or bad is the first kind of look at it. And then the second look would be, is it to connect with them or is it to solve a problem for them?
Right.
So we kind of use those kind of keywords of what is this relationship supposed to be?
Right.
Are we just in relationship to connect and, you know, see how things are going? We're not I'll give you an example of that. Some of our customers do have their own trucks.
Right.
So we might not be their primary solution to anything that they have, but it doesn't mean we can't solve something every now and then. So you still want to keep the relationship open and an engagement to see, you know, they might have somebody on vacation that week. That happens occasionally with those customers.
Right.
So still a good relationship. Everything's there. You just understand what those kind of look like and then where you fit to help solve anything.
Yep.
Sometimes you just might be facilitating solving their problem with just your knowledge. That kind of goes back to the educate, but we'll carry that. So you kind of just look at the relationship for what it's supposed to be, and that helps you bring the best effort to be a good part of their relationship.
Right.
So.
Right. And, you know, those things, you and I talked about this recently, how I tried to give an example of what I thought the connection part of it was. And you had mentioned, you're like, well, it's more on the solve side. And then I kind of explained why I thought it was more on the connection. You told me why it was more on the solve side. And it made me realize how much they can blend together.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, you know, I'm here to be friends, and then it's I'm here to solve your issues.
Right.
Like, it is truly, there's a collection of both that require effort from both sides as well to be able to give into a relationship that's going to bloom correctly and be fulfilled or fulfilling for both parties.
Well, and the cool part is how we're talking about how this matches everywhere at Elite is it should naturally, authentically match, which we talk about in our mission statement, authentically serving from a personal spot that is authentic from a servant's heart is the way our mission statement quote reads, which should breathe out. And it's super awesome to see that breathe out and everybody at Elite trying to make an effort through that. We're not perfect. We fail at it most of the time, but we at least are failing forward at the effort of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's cool to see when, if we do fail at those times, when the other party picks us back up.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that just shows the investment that we have in everybody customer-wise at Elite who
that's a good word, so to speak, the way you just said that, the investment. So the investment is there's something that should be in return.
Right.
It's not that it's expected, but it's expected to just the golden circle kind of concept. If I treat you right, you'll treat me right.
Yep. Yep.
And so if you go in it with that right spirit, and there is a fall, we make a mistake on our shipping, something like that, or if the customer makes a mistake, then both sides are like trying to meet each other back, and that's really the value of the relationship.
Absolutely, and it really transcends like the business side of it. There's people that are our customers that we may not talk to all the time outside of office hours, but like we'd be willing to.
Right.
And if they want to just have a conversation, just to talk, and not necessarily about freight or whatever the case may be, like all of us have our phones open, ready for it, because we enjoy that, and that's something that we've all invested our time and efforts into to see. And
here's one example of that just came in yesterday of something very similar, of a relationship that has been built over 18 years, and a conversation that came up. I'll leave the name of all the information out, but the person reached out because the booking that they had ended up changing. They changed the style of flights, and so the cargo's too heavy to go on the flight that the airline changed it on. It's a different plane, different route and instructions. Right away came to mind, reach out to Elite. It's in Atlanta. We need their help to help solve the problem. So connection, the relationship, how they blend. The note I had, and I just want to make sure I say it here, is I kind of had a little note say the relationship is the way two or more concepts, objects, or people connect for the state of being connected.
Yep.
So I just thought that was a kind of interesting way to shape relationships. And then through there, you either connecting or solving, or like we mentioned, both.
Yep.
And there's either good or bad, and you have to kind of, sometimes you have to subtract so you can add.
Yeah. And I think that subtraction to add thing is pretty important. I know.
And it's for the benefit of both involved.
Yeah,
If you're not meeting their needs from a relationship, then you shouldn't waste their time, and you should exit out of that, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important for both parties to realize that as well, and not have some sort of grudge held onto it, because grudges are like one of those things where it's not just taking up so much time and energy that doesn't really matter. Like, imagine how much you could spend pouring into relationships to see it really blossom, and the ones that maybe fit your needs or fit your personality or whatever the case may be, fits what you're looking for a lot better. So for sure. You got anything else you want to add?
No, we could go on for hours and give examples and stuff, but I think in quick summary, I mean, basically there's good and bad, and you're in it for one or two, or a combination of the two, to connect or to bring value. To connect or to solve. Connect or solve. Those are one of the two reasons why you would be in a relationship.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, sometimes it's for both.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple when you pull it back. It doesn't have to be as complicated. So
yeah, it's one of those things where you can dive into it and you can make it complicated, or you can just be like, "It's this," and that's it.
Exactly.
Like that's just the reality. And the reality is that on the next video we are going to be talking about one of the other three that we mentioned in the first video.
Value and educate left.
Yes.
Those are what's left.
Yes.
That's what you have to tune in for.
So
a little bit more details on that.
Be sure to watch. We'll be there waiting on you. We out.